And I would like to invite His Excellency Syamsul Maarif, Minister of National Agency for Disaster Management of Indonesia. And afterwards, I will invite Bangladesh. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished participants, we were saddened to hear the tragic loss of life and injuries after a devastating tornado tore Oklahoma City and the United States of America yesterday. On behalf of the government of Indonesia, I would like to express our heartfelt condolences to the government and the people of the United States of America. Our thoughts and feelings are with those who have been affected by these devastating disasters. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia greatly values the importance of sharing experiences, best practice, and innovative ideas among countries, which enables us to continuously build our national capacity in DRR. This exercise has also boosted our confidence toward a more equipped and resilient community in dealing with disaster in our country. On this note, Indonesia expresses its highest appreciation to all relevant DRR stakeholders that have been continuously and relentlessly providing support to our efforts in strengthening our disaster management system. The encouragement and recognition to President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono as the global champion for disaster risk reduction has indeed inspired us to move forward. Regionally, we also appreciate for exchange of experiences, advice, and guidance of all DRR stakeholders during the 5th ASEAN Ministerial Conference for Disaster Risk Reduction, AMCDRR, which held on the 22nd to 25th October 2012 in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. The overarching theme of the 5th AMCDRR, which is strengthening local capacity for disaster risk reduction, and its 3 sub-themes, namely integrating local-level disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation into national development planning, local risk assessment and financing, and strengthening local risk governance and partnership, were developed not merely based on the experiences and lessons learned that we've gathered throughout our DRR implementation, but they were actually the results of intricately woven themes from the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th MCDRR. The outcome document of the 5th MCDRR, the Yogyakarta Declaration, calls on DRR stakeholders to integrate local-level disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation into national development planning, to support local risk assessment and financing, to strengthen local risk governance and partnership, and to build local community resilience. Yogyakarta Declaration also calls on countries to build and sustain capacities and legal mandates of national and local governments and the private sector to integrate DRR in land use planning and building disaster-resistant infrastructure. The implementation of cross-cutting issues such as socio-economic vulnerability and exposure, gender, disability and age capacities, and cultural diversity that enables integrated approach of DRR measures has also agreed upon in Yogyakarta. Being aware that Indonesia is the largest archipelagic country in the world, with thousands of islands and most of them are located in remote areas with very limited access, the government of Indonesia has been reinforcing its strategic efforts for the implementation of disaster resilient village programs in the past 2 years. We also continue to develop community-based DRR that has become the main social capital in our disaster resilient village programs. DRR has been mainstreamed into Indonesia's National Community Empowerment Program by providing practical tools and capacity development to thousands of village facilitators across the country. As most disasters occurred at the sub-national level, strengthening the capacity of local governments in assessing disaster risk in their respective areas, as well as building their institutional capacity to mitigate, respond, and recover from disasters becomes a key to sustainable risk management. Indonesia has developed risk analysis strategies and tools to support local governments in establishing science-based disaster management. Local governments have also been encouraged to use the local government self-assessment tools, LGSAT, for disaster resilience to assess their level of preparedness to disasters and identify gaps that need to be closed. More than 250 LGSAT facilitators have been trained to implement this initiative at the district or city level all around the country. Furthermore, Indonesia has established a strong regulatory framework for the involvement of the private sector in building sustainable community. Initial efforts have been piloted to build community resilience through public, private, and people partnership, or P4, in West Sumatra province that was hit by a 7.9 Richter scale earthquake that killed nearly 1,200 people and affected 11 districts within the province. The P4 was initially commenced by government's investment on the area through the rehabilitation and reconstruction programs. Such investment has led to the increase of trust from the civil society and private sectors. As the government of Indonesia developed its tsunami disaster risk reduction master plan with the four main priorities programs, namely strengthening tsunami warning chain, establishment and enhancement of temporary evacuation sites, strengthening preparedness and local DRR capacities, as well as establishing independent disaster-related industries. The level of trust by the private sector and civil society is in the rising trend. We are committed to cultivate the enabling environment by enhancing good governance and accountability. As part of our efforts to strengthen local DRR, the government of Indonesia will convene a Mentawai Mega Trust disaster relief exercise in March 2014 to anticipate the real threat faced by the communities living along the coastline of West Sumatra province. 10 ASEAN member states and 8 non-ASEAN East Asia Summit participating countries will be part of this civil-military exercise. On this note, I would like to take this opportunity to extend our warm invitation to all of you to participate and support the Mentawai Mega Trust Directs next year. To conclude, Mr. Chairman, Indonesia strongly believes that our vast and valuable experience at all levels is instrumental in constructively shaping the YUGO framework for action in post-2015 toward prospective objectives of local action, integrated approaches, and enabling environment. Thank you very much.